Speaking of high tech and the internet, after years as the world's factory, it looks like China is increasingly embracing high technology, and its new image is summed up by people such as Li Kai-fu. He's the founder and CEO of Innovation Works, which is a venture capital fund, an angel fund of sorts, and he also has 23 million followers on Weibo. That's the Chinese equivalent of Twitter, and he spoke to Robyn Meredith about China's move from tech follower to leader.
In the internet and software space, it's happening the fastest because most internet technologies are not that difficult to replicate. Okay, so a social network, the technologies behind social networks and websites and email and messaging, those are not easy, but not that hard to replicate. So I think in software it's happening the fastest.
But you're talking about replication, you know, people using something that's already been invented elsewhere. When will we start to see Chinese companies really inventing on a large scale and Western companies replicating what they've done?
I don't think we should underestimate the power of replication, because replication is really just the first step. QQ began as a replication of MSN Messenger or ICQ. Baidu began as a replication of Google. Taobao began as a replication of eBay. But these companies very rapidly adapted to local ways as well as created innovations of their own. Taobao getting rid of listing fees, making it much more internet-like. Baidu's offering of a knowledge search and turning every search term into a community for discussion. And the QQ's ability to charge micropayments for people to pay for avatars and games. These are examples of micro-innovations that take an initial replication and evolve them to something that's almost not recognizable as the same product. The three companies I mentioned are worth almost $150 billion now, so it's creating value.
Do you think it matters that the Chinese government is trying to encourage innovation?
Well, the government's certainly injecting more money. They are willing to put in funds to contribute to venture capital funds to make them larger and more and fundraising faster.
Do they contribute to yours?
No, not yet. We have a US dollar fund right now. But that's not out of the question as we have local currency funds. They will offer incentives for senior overseas Chinese to return, PhDs and people who are well known in their areas. They will give subsidies of different types, rental subsidies. For example, Innovation Works doesn't pay rent, and because they see us as in a special category deserving of this subsidy.
I think in the West we so often think of Chinese champions being the giant companies, you know, the Sinopex and the like, but I suppose there's some tiny Chinese champions as well.
Yes, and many of them go from tiny to giant very quickly. Baidu, Tencent, Alibaba are some examples. 15 years ago they were nowhere, but now they're $50, $60 billion companies in value, in market capitalization.